Hello, everyone. How about if I welcome us back so we can hear our student panel? This has been a very interesting day for me. I'm the Dean of Students at the university, and so I'm one of those administrators very involved with handling disasters and other sorts of critical incidents. And so I've appreciated the perspectives of the mental health experts and really enjoyed hearing about the approaches toward handling some of these things from other universities. But another key resource, as we all know on our campuses, are our students themselves. They're on the ground. They have a sense of student rumors, concerns, and needs at any point in time, are happy to give us suggestions, almost always good ones and sometimes doable. They know when and how students gather and talk, and they have info about student action or interactions, so that all of these times when we're interested, if one student gets hurt, who might be the other students that know him or her best, will care very personally. And they have networks and great connections among student leaders. And of course, they have endless energy and creativity and have often a different way to look at things than we as administrators and mental health professionals do. We're very fortunate today to have 6 of our University of Michigan students with us. They represent different schools and colleges, different class years. Some are associated directly with student organizations. Some of those student organizations work very closely with different administrative offices. Others among them are involved in very ad hoc efforts that have been created in response to certain disasters and catastrophes. And they also have the dual role of having been impacted either personally or as a general person within the university community by a disaster that has faced us all. And then they're also involved in different ways in providing services. So they have both the personal impact that they've coped with and the provision of a new service. They'll all introduce themselves, and I hope you'll mention the schools and colleges, maybe your class years, because that's impressive too. And then they'll talk a little bit about the efforts they've undertaken, the personal growth, the experiences themselves that other students have shared, and lessons learned. They'll each talk for about 6 minutes each, and if we do that, we'll have maybe about 10 or 15 minutes for questions. If we end right on time, if we go just a tiny bit beyond, we may have a little more. I'm supposed to make sure you're aware of one room change for the breakout sessions that follow. The faculty session and the administrators session have flipped. So the administrators will now be in the East Conference Room on the 4th floor. If you get there, you'll know you're there because I'll be there. And the faculty will be in the executive boardroom on the 1st floor. If we run out of time for questions, the students will be in the breakout sessions too, so we'll be able to do a little more follow-up there. So I'll just let you begin. Thanks.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Naruemol, Singha-Dong. I'm from Thailand, actually, and I am a candidate of School of Nursing. Actually, I would like to talk about the service that we did in summer, last summer, and we had formed a group. Actually, we don't want to do it ourselves, though. I came up with the thought that the University of Michigan Thai students should use the knowledge they gain from school and college, and then use that one to help others in the country that are affected by tsunami. And we try to sell our idea. The idea was sold. The problem is that no one wants to do it because it's international kind of thing, and then there's process that need to be done. So we decided to do it ourselves. The group is named Tsunami Community Service at Thailand, and we call it TCSAT for short. Our mission is to help tsunami victims and the community that receive less attention or help. There are many villages, especially small villages on the island that didn't get help, even though it's several months after the tsunami event. And then we have decided to focus on Phang Nga, the province that have affected the worst in Thailand. Our focus is on long-term development, so we decided to do health, well-being, and also education. I will tell you why we do that. The timeline is that we have the first meeting in January on the 21st, and then we have the local location survey afterward, just 1 week before the on-site service. And you might want to know where is Phang Nga. I believe this works. No, it doesn't work. So I think you know where is Thailand. You know Thailand? Have you heard about Thailand? Yeah, thank you. So Phang Nga is the province that is just north of Phuket, the popular vacation spot in Thailand. We have to do things, try to get the project run, and the first thing that we have to do is planning. We need to get lots of information about the area and also other volunteer groups in the area. So we set up the weekly meeting, and we usually met at my apartment. And one of the commitments is that I have to cook Thai food for the member to come in, eat, and then we have the meeting afterward. And then we try to contact the government agency and also school, college, and offices, and try to see what we can do and have to be done legally, and try to ensure that our project is okay to everyone, especially our UM offices, and also the Thai government, the U.S. Embassy, and other parties, especially the parents of the volunteers. So we did a lot of consulting, and we have draft the legal documentation for volunteer. First that we have to do is hunting for volunteers. It's kind of late because even though we start in January, but we won't be able to do anything until May. So we try to, everything is dynamic and the situation is dynamic as well. So sometimes when we think about what should we do and what kind of service that can be done for the population, the problem occurs is that first we think about basic needs, and then the problem solved. So we move around and then try to be more flexible with the situation in the area. And then we have created our own website just to advertise our project and then tell people what we would offer to them and then also what they can gain from our project. We have the application process and we have the interview for individuals who would like to volunteer for on-site service. And when we get people, we have to get the team. That means just one unit that can work together and then there is no conflict at all. So we had 18 members who are University of Michigan students. And then we have 3 visiting scholars who has been in the U.S. At the University of Michigan. And then we have other volunteers, 3 others, 2 from the UK who found our information on the web and then sent out email saying that they are in Cambodia and would like to help. And then another person is from Holland. Every person who volunteered for on-site service had to be interviewed, and then the last interview is in Thailand the day before we have to leave Bangkok. We just try to make sure we don't get any youngie or any person who is dependent into the group. Another task, which is very challenging for us, is getting money. We are a student group. It is very difficult to get money because when we ask corporate for money, we don't have anything that can help them with tax. And then when we ask the university entities about support that we can get, the university is a public university. So we couldn't get much to help them because what we want to do is get more supplies that we can use. So we did a lot of things. We have t-shirt sale, bucket drive, grant proposal. We also have silent auction over the Thai cultural show that we have Thai handcraft that is shown for auction. We had food sale. We have barbecue party that we charge everyone for the party. And we also have bowling night to try to get more money into the project. And then the week before the group would get to Thailand, then me and also other 2 members went to the location in Phanga and tried to meet with people and get more information about possibility of getting each activity done and also what should not be done and what we couldn't do. We have this concern because one of our location that we would like to serve is Islamic community. And it is very difficult for us if we don't know in advance what we can't do over there. And this is the way that we try to get more money. We did bucket drive on Liberty in the front of Starbucks. People stop by and give us money. We fill half of the bucket with snow that day. And then we got some of the money. I think that night we gained about $700. Because it is very cold, it's about teen number of the temperature. And then some people stop by to see what did Starbucks do wrong, that we protest in the front of Starbucks, and we have the sign. And this is for location survey before the service start. So we visit schools and make decision of which school need help the most, and then which one is being abandoned. And we finalize with the project that we would like to be done. We have somewhat of a teleconference with volunteers who were still in Michigan, and the 3 of us who were in Thailand on the area. And then we arranged for accommodation and everything that we could. You will see the top, from the top picture is the place when we stay at the first week of the service. And another picture shows that the place that we have to cook and eat. So on-site activities we have several activities on-site. But I would like to, because this is a depression conference, so I would like to focus on health and also psychological support activity that we did. If we have time, then we will go through another activity. Our schedule, we have 2 weeks. And then for the first week, we need to finish up with the library construction, which the volunteer group before us had built, but it's not done with unknown reason. They just abandoned the building. So we have to finish that building. And then we have to finish it and let the wall dry before we can go back and paint the building. Then we went to another school to do another project, especially for children's activity. Physical health. We set up a small health clinic over the school. And we also do the physical examination. We did screening for students and also pupils within the village. And we also did the update information for health card of the student. We did eye exam for sure. And this is what we done. You see on the top left-hand side. This is our experienced volunteer, Kimberly. She has been working hard with us, and we try to dress appropriately, but because the weather is somewhat around 90 degrees, so finally at the end of the day we took off some pieces. And this is what you see. We have germ free lesson for children. We also have the lesson for dental care. And then we did some activities for psychological support for children. We asked them to do the art project. They draw the picture. I have two examples that I would like to share with you about. Is that the first one, a 6 years old girl. She's very talented in drawing. All her drawing is very colorful. But when we asked her to draw about tsunami, suddenly it's only black that she used. And pupils start to have no head, just only head, no hand, no legs, and no body. The picture in pink, the children who draw this picture actually went out in the sea with her father. And then when the tsunami occurred, her father just tried to get to the coast, asked her to run, and say, don't look back, just run. She ran to the coast, tried to get to the high hill, and then was rescued from the local people. She was told that her father died. And during that time, she faced a lot of loss, and then there's a lot of things that she has to go through. But day after, they found out that the father's alive, so the family reunite again. The common theme discovered in children artwork, we usually see almost all the work have left. And then dead people, fishing boat, house, mountain, pupil climbing tree, and then ship hitting home. We did another project with the children. Project after project depends on supply that we have left. And we also did somewhat of the recreation activities as well. We changed lots of challenges. First of all, about the nature of the children. Tsunami has happened for 5 months before we got there. The children had been spoiled because the people think that they suffer, so they should be spoiled, and then disregarded of the culture that children should listen to adults and also pay respect to others. So this is the first difficulty that we face when we work with children. We also have conflict with another volunteer group who feel so much that they fall to children and they don't want to leave the island, and we have negotiation. We try to negotiate to work professionally. We are lucky that we have many of the people, of the members who are from professional schools, so we can work professionally, somewhat professionally. And then most all of us has trained for what should we observe for the side of psychological issue among children, and also we were informed about cultural issue in the area. So, and our project tried to went through the government route so that we get approved and then we can do anything legally. Our advantage, another advantage of our group is that we are flexible and fearless, so we just go for it. And then at the end of the day, we have to work hard to make sure that the next day would be good for us and children. I have one clip. I think I ran out of time. So I have one clip for you that this is when we try to rehearsal for the next day. Oh, I know how can I do it, but just forget it because I ran out of time anyway. So just the point is that we did our best to put a smile on their faces. Even though we got this at the end of the day, we got dirt and we got very tired, but we still need to do debriefing every day. Especially people who did the activity, the artwork activity with kids. At the end of the day, when we do the debriefing, the thing that usually occur is that our members tear off when they heard about the activity, because some members were assigned another task. Some are over the construction site, some work with the kids. So when we have debriefing, then we help each other as well. For the feedback from the Thai students, school, and the locals, they appreciate our work, and they wish that we can stay longer over there. For the member of our group, we appreciate what we did, and we were able to help the kid put color back on their picture, and also we can give them some smile. We think that our feeling is fulfilled, and also the feedback is to each of us is that we also learn what to do, and also what occur is that leadership and also mentorship as well. We try to pair experienced volunteer with inexperienced volunteer, and also Thai with non-Thai, so that we know what to do and what should not be done. And I would like to give acknowledgement for our member who have been working hard, and also our advisor, Dr. Lin Sauer, University of Michigan sponsors, and our non-UM sponsor that help our project. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alyssa Lurie. I'm a senior at the University of Michigan. My major is sociology, so I'm in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts, and I have a sub-concentration in health and aging. And today I'm going to talk about kind of a project that we attempted to do for the students who are either displaced during the hurricane or Hurricane Katrina, and the students who are currently attending here and are from, the affected areas. So the original idea came about during a meeting that we had that was put on by MSA, the student government, and myself and another student wanted to come up with kind of a buddy system to get these students oriented with the campus, with the University of the City of Ann Arbor, and also kind of just be there for them in the time of need. So we came up with the name NOLA Buddies, New Orleans, Louisiana Buddies, and we just wanted to partner people up, but we wanted to do it in about a span of time that lasted about a week, because you get to school, and by the time things get going, you kind of lose track and get busy with work, things like that. So our idea was to find out who these students were, the people who were admitted are from New Orleans, and then get a group of students who are already here and train them to be volunteers and buddies. So we wanted to train them through CAPS, which is a psychological service at University of Michigan, housing, and then the Office of New Student Programs. As a staff member of the undergraduate admissions office, I thought this would be pretty easy to do, to obtain a list of students and to get pamphlets and things just to help them out. I wanted to give them kind of brochures with activities and places to go, things to do, but it just takes a lot longer than a week to do something like that. So basically, it never really ended up working out because there were tons of barriers. We really just wanted to help these victims, but one of the major problems was you can't get their names without permission. You have to go through several steps to obtain the names. There needs to be a faster method, but with all those steps you need to take, it's really tough to do. And then also we tended to kind of forget about or disregard the students who are from New Orleans, who could have, their families could have been displaced, things like that. We attempted to set up a booth at an ice cream social in the student union to give them maps and brochures and things like that, but that was about the first and last time we saw any of the students. So I was hoping what could be done is to either, in our student government, put in like a standing committee for students who go through crises, or create a crises group, or make them part of an existing group we already have at the University of Michigan. And I also hope to somehow come up with a standard model to build on for this university and other universities as well.
Hi, my name is Katie Roeder. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I'm a representative from a U of M student group called Finding Voice, and we were not formed in response to a major crisis or a disaster. We're just a group of students who came together because we really felt the need to improve the campus environment for students affected by mental illness. One of the things I want to talk about as just kind of an example of what we do is we've put a lot of time into trying to help students who have either attempted suicide during the semester or experienced a similar mental health related crisis. We're finding that it was really hard for students to navigate being hospitalized, understanding new medications they may be put on, adjusting to new therapists, new psychiatrists, and at the same time they have to keep track of their missed homework, any missed exams, try to figure out how to make everything up. So one of our members was actually hospitalized at the psych unit here at U of M, and she came up with the idea of creating a hospital guide for these students. And we worked on this in collaboration with the Dean of Students office, and it's now been published. So every U of M student who goes through the psychiatric inpatient unit at U of M hospital is getting this booklet that walks them through notifying family members, friends, keeping up on homework, that kind of thing. We've also been working on publicizing the office services for students with disabilities. Most people don't know this office exists, and if they do, they don't know that some mental illnesses qualify as a disability. For example, if a student is having anxiety surrounding being in a large room full of people, that student may have a really hard time taking exams. So through this office, they can get documentation from a therapist or a psychiatrist, and this office will help them be able to have extended time for their exams or to take an exam in a smaller, quieter room or something like that. And we've been trying to make that more well known for students with mental illnesses so they can increase their chances of success. And we've also been working on, a lot of students don't know what to do if they do have to leave for a semester or two, and it's really hard to get that information online. It's fairly readily available if you go in to talk to your advisor, but if you are currently off campus or in a hospital, that's not really an option, and it's really hard to figure out what you need to do if you want to take a medical leave. So what we've done is we've met with the advising office and talked through, okay, if a student wants to leave at this point in the semester, what do they need to do? Who do they need to contact? How do they get back in? And so we've put that information together, and it's going to be going up soon on our website just as kind of an informal student's guide of being able to take care of yourself while not screwing yourself over. And we've also been trying to, another obstacle with this, if you're in the hospital overnight for, say you break your leg or something, and then you're up late in the ER, and then you have an early class the next day, and if you have to miss that class, it's really easy to explain to your professor. This is not the case if it's a student who's in the emergency room for a suicide attempt. Most students are not comfortable sharing that information with even acquaintances, roommates, family members, and it's a really big jump to start sharing that information with a professor or a graduate student, an instructor. And another thing we've worked with the Dean of Students office on is pairing that student with an administrator who will kind of document the case, verify that something real is going on, and then contact the professors and say, with a very generic letter that says, the student is experiencing some health issues, we are aware of the problem, please do whatever is in your power to help this student. And we're finding that this helps protect the student's confidentiality while still helping them get the accommodations that they need. And also related to suicide, as many of you know, there were the 2 recent suicides on U of M's campus. And that was hard to deal with, being part of this group, because we had this overwhelming feeling of we should do something, and we had no idea what to do. Everyone's been talking about kind of the suicide contagion effect, and we didn't want to contribute to that. We were worried that doing any events related to suicide would make a 3rd suicide more likely, which obviously we did not want to happen. So everyone's been talking, oh, we need these plans, we need them in place, and I think it'd be really beneficial if you also had plans for dealing not only with the students directly affected by the suicide, such as friends, roommates, significant others, but also just related student groups, because we were just kind of in this bind of we should be doing something, we need to do something, we don't know what to do, and we ended up doing nothing, and that felt pretty bad. As far as things that we kind of are working on now and would like to see happen in the future, we're finding that a lot of students, first of all, don't know what counseling services exist and also don't know when to seek them. Many students who are actually suffering from the onset of a mood disorder or an anxiety disorder don't realize it, and they just believe it's normal stress related with a transition to college, and they don't quite know what the difference is between a normal change in sleep schedule and a change that maybe you should be concerned about. So a lot of these students show up in their advisors' offices or in their RA's room saying, hey, this is going on and I'm doing badly at school or I'm having trouble with this. However, these people don't have a lot of training in supporting these students. So we've been working to get them more training about the mental health resources so they can learn how to help these students during this time.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Tillman. I'm a third-year undergrad majoring in global health and minoring in medical anthropology. I am the executive board chair of a group called Pulse, which is a peer health advocacy program that runs through University Health Services. We're a program that works to train students who are living in the residential communities. So they're trained on a variety of health topics, from sexual health to mental health to nutrition, everything that University Health Services does. These Pulse students are trained to be able to be advocates within their community for those topics. Like Katie's group, Finding Voice, Pulse is also something that is integrated within the university system. We were in place whenever the various mental health issues happened on campus. The people who are in the residence halls not only have gone through this training, but they also have a binder that is available to them with all kinds of resources in there. So if someone comes to talk to them, they can say, you know, I have these resources. If you want someone to walk you to CAPS, I can walk you to CAPS. If you're looking for someone else to talk to, for example, a student organization, they would know that Finding Voice is there, and we could refer them to Finding Voice. So the essence of Pulse is that it's a constant reminder within residential communities that students have someone to talk to. And it's a lot easier sometimes to talk to a student than it may be to talk to an advisor or an administrator at the University of Michigan. We also have a newsletter that we put out bi-weekly, and in response to the suicides on campus, we also had the same feeling that the university sort of had this subtle, understated reaction to it. So within our newsletter, we also gave our Pulse members resources that were available on campus, statistics of how common certain mental health issues are, and just having them be aware of what is going on and not necessarily examining all of the students in their residential community, but making sure that other students know that they're available to come and talk to them about what is going on with them if they feel that they need to. We focus on everyday interactions, using those interactions to talk about mental health issues, to talk about every kind of issue, because mental health can be encompassed in every other kind of health that is involved. And it's really difficult for students to focus on their own mental health when academics is such a strong impact on this campus, for everyone to be concentrated on that. So in response to the tsunami and Hurricane Katrina, because we are a group that is already in place, we didn't necessarily have an immediate response like NOLA, but all of our Pulse members were given additional information on grieving and loss for them to be able to use in terms of someone who would come to them in response to the hurricane or the tsunami. They were reminded to make themselves more available in their community and to be conscious and sensitive to others who may seem like they were having a hard time with the issues that were coming to them. In response to the suicides, we felt the same way that the university did, and that we don't want to publicize the suicides for the same reason that Katie said, but we made students more aware of what was going on through the Pulse students who were already there. So there was no vocal action and there was nothing that was exuberated through Pulse, but it was just the consistency of the everyday interactions, just being sensitive to the fact that others may be going through something that you have no idea what they're going through. So in an interaction, it's extremely important to just go with an open mind and be available to listen, because your peers obviously are facing different issues than you may be facing. So that's sort of it. That's Pulse.
Good afternoon. My name is Darla Williams. I am a third-year student in LSNA, and I serve currently as the president of the Residence Halls Association. That's the student government that is based in the residence halls. So we are a standing organization and have been in existence, for nearly 50 years at this point. So the things that I'm going to highlight really are more social support that we as RHA do, some of the other student organizations that I'm associated with, as well as housing, which we work very closely with. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is the importance of social support and when it comes from student groups. I know recently the university has made a huge step in giving more support towards student groups as far as the SOAR guidelines are, making sure that faculty, staff, and other support services are available, because in my personal experience and experience with friends and other people who attend this university, some of these social groups, these student organizations, whether they be the governments, whether they be a Greek letter organization, whether they be just something, let's hang out and study together, have really kept students here and kept students here healthy. So the social support is really, really important, and the fact that the university is really starting to recognize that and providing some of this support has been very helpful. One thing that I would like to definitely recommend for the future and for the movement of this is that as faculty or staff advisors to some of these student organizations, or even if you have a mentee as faculty or staff, that you do one-on-ones pretty often, at least 1 to 3 times per semester. I know as a student leader, as we like to call ourselves, it's very helpful, because although we may not know that something is kind of on the horizon of being stressed out or having a lot of things to do, being able to check in with someone on that regular basis is very, very helpful. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is some of the resources that housing has had in place for years, for decades even. Some of the specialized resident staff, of course, the resident advisor, which is nearly on every hall, they may serve anywhere between 15 and 70 students, depending on which building and which area of campus. But having that one student, usually an upperclassman who's been around campus, who knows kind of how to do things, they've been around, to have a social support right there in your hallway is always helpful. And then the academic support that comes from the academic peer advisor. This is university. We're all students, and so to have someone to speak with who's, again, older, who knows the ropes, to say, this class, how does this class work, or how should I handle stress, that's also very helpful, because it's something that's right there in those residential areas. And then talking on minority and multicultural issues, the Minority Peer Advisor Program and the councils that are associated with that. Again, the social support that comes from those, the ability to talk about some issues that as we're in high school or even younger in our own communities before we come to the university aren't able to discuss, or even haven't had issue with because of the communities we come from, now become an issue in this new, larger, more diverse place. So having the space, the safe space, and someone who has been trained to address those has been incredibly helpful for, I know, at least a lot of minority students, but also students who represent the majority, because those issues may not have come up where they come from. So I think that's a wonderful step. And if other units have support systems like that, or don't, look into it and how it may be helpful to students and even staff who may be coming from all over the country and the world. The last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is some of the responses that we have. Like I said, we are standing organizations, and with housing being one of the administrative units, the support that comes when there's a disaster or an issue that comes up usually comes in the form of social support. I know for Hurricane Katrina, and even last year with the tsunami relief efforts, we as RHA, we really can't do any of the psychological helping. We can't do too much of the social support because we're not trained in that area. So what we do is we allow students an outlet to help, even if they're not directly affected, but know people who are. They can donate money through meal sacrifices, or even with that donations program that we would set up with the help of housing, say, you know what, if you want to help, here's some additional resources of other groups who are doing bigger things that we just aren't able to do. Also, when it comes to deaths or other stressful situations that are based in the residence hall, housing is very, very quick to respond in the form of let's have a debriefing session, or we're going to call a hall meeting to make sure that we can discuss it, to make sure that everyone's in a place that's okay, and making sure that the staff that are in the buildings are available for extended hours, for appointments, for even walk-ins and as such, to just have someone to talk to and maybe not address the issue full on, but to direct them to someone who can. So I guess the main thing that I want to really encourage is that as professionals, that you're providing social support. We are not always trained to discuss the depression or the psychological issues that are tied into that, but to know that you have someone to speak with can be very, very helpful. I guess that's it.
Hi, my name is Claire Haskell, and I'm a graduate student at the School of Public Health. I'm actually just finishing up my master's degree in Health Services Administration, and I want to talk for just a little bit about my personal experiences with Hurricane Katrina and the response of the university community to that. I was born and raised in New Orleans, so the period right after the hurricane hit was very stressful, as we were trying to contact relatives and friends to see who made it out and who was still there. Fortunately, my personal family was all able to evacuate to Houston before the hurricane hit, and so we are very grateful for that. But this all happened right around the beginning of the fall semester, and the university was pretty quick to respond by posting information on the websites. There was a letter from the president, Mary Sue Coleman, where she extended her condolences and concerns, and also identified a lot of resources and information that would be helpful to the students who were affected by the hurricane, as well as to, I think, the student population in general who wanted to know what they could do to help. The School of Public Health, I know, quickly accepted a number of students from Tulane who had been displaced from the hurricane, and they were really good about communicating to the student group what they could do to help. I know a number of my classmates volunteered to man the phone lines at the American Red Cross. Some others did sorting of clothing and other supplies that were being sent to the Gulf Coast. Myself and I know a couple other people offered to take in students who needed temporary housing when they were coming from the Tulane University before they could find permanent housing here. And one of those students stayed with me for just over a week. Around this same time, my family had to evacuate Houston due to Hurricane Rita. And we decided that it would be best for my younger brother and sister to come to Ann Arbor to live with me. And I mentioned this to one of my professors at the School of Public Health, and very quickly, within a day or so, I was contacted by someone from the Dean of Students' office, and she was really great about explaining to me all the resources that were available to help me and my siblings get settled. A whole range of resources, from gift cards to grocery stores to Target to the counseling services that might be helpful to my siblings to help them adjust. Even we're able to arrange for the dental school to provide free dental care for them. So that was great. The faculty at the School of Public Health also responded in a way that was incredibly supportive. Besides financial aid, they really extended themselves to help in other ways in applying for public health insurance for the children, in getting them enrolled in public schools here, and helping me navigate through the different systems. That was very helpful. Besides the faculty, I know the students at the School of Public Health have also responded very actively. There's an ad hoc group that was formed in response to Hurricane Katrina, the Public Health Student Action Team, and they actually organized a working spring break to a couple of different locations in the Gulf Coast, and they were there for over a week helping with the cleanup and recovery efforts that are still ongoing there. And besides that one-time trip, it is an ongoing effort, like I said, and we are engaging in regular meetings to assess what we can do to continue to support the efforts that are continuing at this time.
Thank you, guys. You can see how easy it is to be an administrator at the University of Michigan with students like these. I think, Rachel, have you collected any cards so far? Or have people written questions? We have about 15 minutes before we have to be in our breakout sessions. I'll mention once again that the faculty session and the administrative sessions have switched rooms. So the administrators are on the 4th floor and the faculty are on the 1st. And do we have a mic, or does anyone want to ask questions? I don't know if we'll be able to hear you from the audience. Okay, I have a little trouble seeing the hands, so if you've got one, just shout it out.
With the Finding Voices, how do you connect with your buddies or your new buddies?
Oh, like how we find members? I'm not really sure how we find members. Our membership is always pretty low. It's a group that's pretty hard to generate interest in, especially because I think a lot of the people who would be most interested in it are the ones who are least able at that time to take on another activity. It's kind of one of those, the people who are doing this advocacy are those who are least able to be doing this advocacy. Just about everyone in Finding Voice has a mental illness. So we kind of go off that. We advertise around CAPS. I believe we have flyers in psychiatric emergency services at U of M Hospital. We do bulletin boards in the dorms. We try to talk to the RAs. A lot of the academic advisors for LS&A have some of our information sheets now. So if a student's coming in with academic difficulties that they think might be due to psychological concerns, they let them know about us. Also, just a lot of word of mouth. We get some people showing up at meetings saying, "Are you guys Finding Voice?" "Yeah, we are." "Okay." But
Yep.
How do you connect with the students coming out of the hospital? How do you connect with them? Refer them to you, the hospital?
we can't be officially because of confidentiality reasons, but because of the handbook we did, the hospital is kind of aware of our presence now, and in the handbook we have a little blurb about our organization and our contact info, but again, it's really hard. We can't have the hospital call us and say, "Oh, so-and-so, a U of M student has just been admitted." Obviously, that would be a huge breach of confidentiality. So we can't actually do as much active recruiting as we'd like. We try to do just a lot of general campus, putting flyers up and hoping that the people who will be interested see them.
How many have you served so far this year?
Officially, we have over 200 members. In reality, I'd say we have about 15 people who are really involved.
And how many patients have you served?
Oh, we don't serve patients. We're just a group of students. We don't offer therapy or services. We're all just undergraduate students. So I can't really give an estimate on how many people have heard about us or been helped by our information. I'm not sure.
You don't really know how many students you helped or in a...
No, I know we get a lot of positive feedback, but I can't give you a number of people who've been helped by hearing about us.
I got a couple of other questions
Yeah,
here.
I can add that as more and more administrators are aware of the support that comes from the group, administrators also refer people to it. But we have another question.
We have a couple of other questions. Someone's asking about the training you or your members have received for your services and what is most helpful in terms of training. Now, I'm not sure, some of you come from student-run groups, so I'm not sure there is training, but for those of you who are working in settings where there is training.
I'd say Pulse and the tsunami trip are probably two people that should answer. Go ahead. Right.
For the tsunami group, the training is that within our group we set up the training session that we invite specialists, to our meeting, and then we asked, we have a professional worker who came from Washington County Community and Mental Health Service, and then he come and talk to us about general information about that, and also what kind of symptoms, signs and symptoms that we have to observe, and also if there is anything that we need to record and also report. And then for cultural sensitivity, I am the one who talk about that because I'm from Thailand, and we try to tell others, volunteers, that what should be done and what should not. For example, if we have to go to the community that is Islamic, we cannot wear short pants or anything like that. So we need to dress appropriately, and also we have to tell them what kind of toilet situation that they will use, and then what kind of living arrangement that we will be facing. And it is very helpful because they know before time that what kind of stuff that they need to pack, and then what things that they can find in Thailand, and what things that they need to be done before here in the U.S. before we leave the country. I guess I answered the question.
For Pulse, it is run through Student Health Services, so the main program goes through 2 health educators who are amazing women who run everything from the training to student support throughout the year. We have one all-day training after all of our members are recruited, and that training covers topics that we want to discuss immediately, including the fact that the Pulse members are not being trained to be counselors, they're being trained to be resources with information available to them so that they can use that information in everyday interactions with people that they're already talking with in their community. The information that is given throughout the year, we have 2 training sessions every week that they go through, and those training sessions can be by instructors at the university on topics of nutrition and mental health, sleep, depression, sexual response, anything that you can imagine. And the Pulse members are supposed to go through one of those sessions each week, and they are also by student groups who come in, including the Office of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Affairs have come in and done a topic. CAPS comes in and talks. So students have this very wide range of information that they are given through all of these trainings.
Do you have one more question, and then maybe if someone has others, they could come up as we go to the break rooms?
This question is, what do you all think about the fact that there are only women up on the stage?
I'm very proud that there are women up here. But not only women, but that we are all so strong and passionate about what we're doing. I mean, I think even if we're representing a group that is here and is constantly here, or if we're representing a group that was formed ad hoc in response to something, I think that it's incredible that we're women who are supporting our university in various ways. And I think that even through the student panel, we've made connections with each other in a way that after this, we've seen that there are improvements that we could make in our own respect, and that we can use each other to make those improvements.
And to be fair, I would just like to mention that in the public health student group that was formed in response to Hurricane Katrina, there is probably an equal number of males and females.
Okay, thank you very much.